Oh boy, it is time to get some North American action started, and we've got Flight at 1-5 taking on Space Station at 4-1. Stats and history would say that Space Station's got this one easily locked up. I'm here with my son Turtle. Turtle, how do you feel about this matchup?
How's it going, man? Father.
It's father to you.
I'm really excited. Yes, thank you. I'm really excited for this matchup. I think Space Station, you can't logically argue against them in this matchup. Flight, I agree with the Chiefs. They had a great weekend. This previous weekend, they did great. Memory specifically, he was popping off. This is the first time we see Memory fit in so well with this roster, and I thought that his shooting was on point. He was playing cleanup man. He was doing so well, opening up. He even got some demos to win that series against United. It was off a demo play from Memory. He's just integrating himself so well, but it's not enough, especially when you're going up against AXB.
Yeah, no, AXB has become so good this season. I've really enjoyed watching this guy play. And honestly, everybody on Space Station has been a threat at some point, and this triple threat offense is honestly, I think, their biggest strength. But I will say, Space Station right now is kind of going through the smooth sailing chunk of their season, where they just faced yesterday. I think they faced United. They're playing Flight today. They have Cloud9 yesterday. Flight today, United next week. I think that's the run. Anyways, they have to stay strong through all of it. It'd be very easy to get complacent, and Flight is eager and chomping at the bit to get those wins. So we'll see if Space Station's able to keep it clean. They've got to play perfectly here, but Flight's gonna give them a little bit of room.
I mean, for Flight, though, there is a small chance, and it's just off that initial win. They got their first win here in RLCS, which is huge. If you, they released actually some of their comms whenever they got the win, and everybody was screaming. So the morale is there. They have at least a little bit of momentum. Flight, they have been eager for a win, eager for momentum. Let's see if it's possible for them to carry that through the rest of the season.
Well, we've got Space Station in the orange, Flight in the blue, a best of 5 here. Flight looking for their second win of league play. Seabass has never won more than 2 series in a single season of RLCS, so he's got the 1 under his belt. Now he's got to find that 2. Just winning this series, just for that reason, would be a big accomplishment for him, just to break that trend. Rapid, the pass across to Seabass. Arsenal will intercept it high near the ceiling. Gonna run out of boost as well, but gets it into the box nonetheless. Memory and Rapid trying to move out here. Seabass will send one towards the goal. The back line of AXB picks it up just fine. And Typical will turn this one back around as Flight continues to get solid contact here and win one-on-one challenges. A ball rolls across the Space Station goal line, but there's no one there to finish it. Now Rapid up against AXB. This one neutral. Here comes the second one. Arsenal will get it neutral again. The neutral touches will result in wins, basically, for Space Station, and now they're going to transition on to offense.
I mean, I love what I'm seeing so far from the confidence. You can see Chief talks about it a lot, the car body language. You can really tell how somebody's feeling, how confident they are in Flight. This could be a repercussion after their initial win. Could be feeling themselves. Memory, hopefully he doesn't get too passive. A great save there as they transition out of the defensive end.
Rapid and Seabass advancing on this wall. Typical gets it past both of them here, and now Memory alone in his box has to pick this up. Seabass demolished on his transition back, and the clears don't come through. That means they're going to have to sort out rotations pretty quickly here, but Rapid gets there before AXB can make that shot. And now Seabass picks this one up. Sends it right back to AXB, though, and he'll loft it over the top of 2. This one should be cleaned up by Flight, but still rough stuff here as Flight's struggling to get out of their own half, and the pressure just continues to pour on from Space Station.
Yeah, they're really starting to box them in here. They started out great. Flight, getting a little bit confident, but now look at the back passes, even that, just keeping possession. Little small touches where it goes back into your own corner where you can keep possession. So critical with keeping boosts and then starving out your teammate because you can force yourself forward. So far, Space Station, they've done a good job of responding to that aggression.
But also for Flight, they've kept this neutral against an offense that has been very strong through this entire season. We're halfway through game number 1, and there's no goals on either side. And right now, they're the ones threatening. Pushing it into the orange. Here's a breakout opportunity. The out pass, Typical got it out to him, but they weren't quite able to sneak it underneath that crossbar. And now AXB up against Memory. Memory gets it away. Now Flight pushes it across. Rapid into the corner. No good as Typical turns it away. Memory back in once more, and AXB now over the top of 1. And you see Flight just using this corner continuously. I think eventually it probably is going to go through, but Space Station defense has been very strong.
And the scary thing to look out for is going to be Arsenal. I mean, keep your eyes on him. If you see him in the corners of the opposition, he's going to be infiltrating that boost. He's going to be going for bumps, demos. Even on the wall here, he's searching for some player, somebody he can hunt and take down. He's probably going to be the one who's going to open up the scoring here in game one.
1:37 left to go. AXB falls on this. And a slow play in the corner from Space Station. See if this turns into a setup for Flight. Rapid's pass was to Memory, who was falling back for boost, so the whole play will come through late, but it might just work out. Memory gets it there. There's one save on the net, and the follow-up puts it too high and off to the corner. It almost turned into the first goal for Flight with 1:15 left to go. Still scoreless in game number one.
And that was so close. Memory had the chance. He's been in position all weekend long for those shots. He's been on point. His accuracy, picture perfect almost. He almost got a chance there, but Arsenal, a great save from him.
Memory down to Seabass. Gets the dunk. Gets all three defenders up for it. Rapid's touch doesn't drop in. It's just wide. He's going to try and turn this one back around and give Flight another opportunity. As Seabass in the corner gets two defenders to go on him. Space Station starting to panic a bit on defense here. The setup for Rapid blocked by AXB. Off to the corner, and Arsenal should turn and pick this one up. But struggling to gain ball control. Memory moves right back in. Tries to give it to Rapid. A bit of a double commit in the enemy box. As AXB tries to slow this down, Seabass gets it under 2, and Arsenal will finally get a clear. He and AXB should be able to transition this one out with 22 seconds left. Space Station now up on offense, looking for the goal at the end of regulation, or else overtime is likely. Down for 2. Memory takes the shot from midfield, looking for the free one. Danger. AXB puts it to the corner. Nobody from Flight can be able to punish that mistake. And AXB just needs to push this into the ground. They're happy to play it overtime this moment. The ball right there in their box. Just kill it and go to extra time.
I mean, this is against all of our expectations. Flight, they have been bringing the house down pretty much with all of these shots. Everything super clean for them, the rotations, and how they're actually putting so many shots on target. The panic play from Space Station Gaming, they've made barely a couple of goal line saves, so close for Flight. My question is, how are they going to get their rotation cut, and will they maintain this consistency, or are they going to get too eager and overextend?
You've got to play clean and perfectly. One mistake's the end of the game here in overtime.
Yeah.
Arsenal passed one. Sipical looks for goalies. Nobody's there. Memory will run into AXB as they bounce it off the corner. The rest of Space Station, wide rotations, as is usual in an overtime situation. Now Sipical around that corner. Memory's got him beat 2, and now it's up to Arsenal. The back line. Sends it high, over the top of 1. Chases it himself. He's got a lot of space right now, but Seabass waits for his touch, understanding that the wall is a difficult place to control the ball. He gets bumped in front of the box. Not going to happen, though. AXB stays grounded as Memory goes up first. A demolition on a Seabass in his own corner could open up space. Typical, can he get back to this? No, Rapid sends it away. With 1:12 in overtime, we keep playing. Now Seabass looking for the counterattack. AXB's got it. We're back to midfield.
Seeing much more classic Space Station as they break out of their half. Arsenal getting a couple demos. He did get bumped by Seabass on that goal opportunity, but things are getting more and more aggressive. As you see him lurking here for the shot. Almost got a beautiful redirect. Arsenal, he's getting more and more aggressive and more dangerous.
Now Arsenal on the back wall with control, was looking for his teammates. The clears come through for Flight. Rapid beats AXB, but Memory understands Sipical's got the control already. Falls back, looks for a defensive touch, stalls him out of the midfield, and now gains control. Up off the wall. Enough boost to stretch it to the goal. AXB makes a save. Seabass up. The touch is soft, and Arsenal comes out to challenge it. Gets it through 1. Rapid's got a quickly half flip in midfield as here comes Space Station looking to set it up. Memory got there first, but AXB finds the read on his touch, and now into the corner once more. Space Station starting to pressure, starting to threaten. As Arsenal drops it to Sipical. Can he find AXB? The pass is good. The shot is good as well. And game 1 goes to Space Station.
Beautiful bit of possession here. Look at Arsenal, the small touch back to Sipical, and then he can control it in the corner for AXB. That is such a clean passing play. Not only is everybody involved, but that initial back pass was so hard to execute, but they did it perfectly. Space Station, while it looked a little bit shaky at the beginning, they managed to come back in a huge way, and things were just exponentially increasing for them.
I felt like the Space Station strung together a perfect series of passes there at the end to make that scoring drive happen. Those came out of the corner, straight out to the shot. AXB was in position, made the play happen. And it was good to see all three of them aggressive on offense in overtime, where usually you only are going to have two people going. They were willing to commit all three players. But I still feel like with both sides of the ball, both teams, at least during regulation, there was two things that were happening. One was the midfield was pretty well contested on both sides. Both teams were doing a good job breaking up advances. But secondly, when the advances weren't broken up, you had players just hitting the ball in the direction their car could hit it the strongest, even if that wasn't necessarily to a teammate or towards a goal or anything. And it felt like we kind of got a lot of neutral play. I would love to see a little bit more intentionality out of one of these rosters in Game 2.
And I think that's definitely a frequent thing that'll happen in the first game, because both teams, they don't want to be a little bit too aggressive or risky with their passes. I think they were kind of feeling each other out where they had those space, or that space to kind of push forward. And I think Space Station, to your point, towards the end, you could see them, once they recognized that they had a lot of space to work with, they kind of started to possess the ball a lot better, move it through the corners, have those little back passes. And I also thought that their challenging was so much better. Those 50-50s they were winning in the corners, huge opportunities for them. As we go into the second game, I'm curious if they can keep that up, or if Flight, I mean, they've been looking solid, have some chances here and there. They just got to put them away.
They definitely were able to stay even, go toe-to-toe with them here. But in the beginning of Game 2, AXB picks it up off a defender, puts it up for 90, and they've got the lead.
And Sypical, he continues that trend of a beautiful challenge off the goalkeeper, just back towards the middle here. And AXB's there for the cleanup. Everything super clutch for Space Station as they get a beautiful start out.
Yeah, sure. And it looks like maybe a player connection issue they're going to try and resolve there. So we'll get into Game 2 there quickly. But good to see Space Station starting off aggressive here in the beginning of Game 2, picking up on where they were at the end of OT. We'll make sure we get word from the admins on whether that goal will stand, though. They might just restart the game. We'll figure out. They'll make the decision there. Yeah, no, Flight, though, I will say, like starting in the midfield, being able to go back and forth, not getting completely trapped in your own half, that is kind of the first beginning step for any team if you want to build a winning series. So I'm glad to see they've got that first step down.
But it's like with the foundation, okay, so yes, they have those passes out of the defense, but then it feels like they've kind of swapped it. You know, you can tell they've been working a lot on their team play, their rotations, but towards the beginning of the season, we'd have a big difference. You know, Seabass, he was incredibly gifted with his 1v1 plays in the beginning of the season. He was getting backboard double touches, incredible air dribbles to create space. And now it's kind of focused more towards a team play style, which is great. But I think if they could maybe involve Seabass a little bit more, go for some better solo plays, it could really push those two styles together and have a much more threatening Flight squad.
Yeah. Do you want to see more solo plays or more team plays from Flight here?
I would actually like to see more solo plays, but as long as you can mix it up, because you gotta keep the other team guessing. Space Station, I think they were playing a little bit past in the first game. Like we talked about, they were kind of feeling it out, seeing the space they could take, and now they're really pushing forward, realizing that, you know, Flight, as long as we can win them in the 50-50s, we're fine. So if they get solo plays as Flight, like Seabass, if he can go for a solo play in the defensive end, win a 1v1 over that initial 50-50 that Space Station have been winning, then you open up more opportunities to go for a pass play, and I think that would be a great execution for them.
Yeah, for sure. And in game number 1, their defense was pretty strong as well. And so when you have the midfield and the defense locked down well, offense is where you need to start stepping things up. And I didn't feel like Space Station was really pressured in net. They weren't having to play super strong defense as much as Flight was just not really creating options. So we should be getting into game 2 here momentarily, and it looks like the goal will stand. So we will continue from where we left off. 1-0 Space Station here on Neo Tokyo. Goes through one, Sypical up. This ball lofted. Memory now. So bring it back down. Pinches it off of a teammate. Arsenal's got a response to the far corner just high of the goal. And AXB now back down to Sypical. As we stretch over one. Arsenal looking to the far side. AXB in the corner. Looks to bump out a player. Sypical through one. And the ball is barely moving out of this corner. Finally, Rapid finds a clear. There was 4 or 5 players crowding there. A shot from Seabass is just wide. An opportunity. There was a player in net he would have had to dodge, but still, would love to see this shot on target. Force the defender to go for it. Now Rapid shot, also going to be wide. Looks for a double tap. Actually gets it on target, but Sypical's got this one now. And Arsenal will look for the counter clear. A nice interception from Rapid, but AXB quickly up. Sypical holds Seabass to the side, and AXB will score 2-0 now for Space Station.
And this is so unfortunate. I like the cut-in rotation from a Rapid to get in front of the clear, because that could have spawned a great counterattack, but the communication was not there. I don't think he even told Memory or his team that he was going to go up for that ball, and that's why you saw a little bit of a double commit hesitation in the backfield, opening up so much space for SSG to exploit. Rapid, I like that turn, but you just need to communicate it a little bit better, and maybe you can start a counterattack.
3:34 on the clock. Memory struggling to hold on to the ball in his corner. Now Arsenal shot just a bit high, and Sypical manages to get a second shot there, but the defense gets in the way, and now Rapid will look to extend this out, struggles to gain control. The ball is now out of boost and is kind of marooned in midfield. You see Arsenal looking for the pass, but Seabass has a response. AXB now out of his own corner. Rapid will just boom it onto the backboard again. Sypical underneath one. And now through Rapid. Seabass on his backboard, not going to make contact. Rapid leaves it. Here comes Arsenal. Sends one towards the goal, but counter touched all the way down. And that's Flight finally on the board.
Off the demo from Memory. He's just running back, takes out that third man rotating in. Not even sure if he could have had enough speed to get that huge clear. Great interception from Seabass. Kind of similar to the turn that we saw from Rapid, but this time it was well executed. The communication was out there, and rotations we're looking clean and crisp, and that's exactly what you want to see with counterattacks whenever you've got Space Station being so aggressive.
Space Station definitely thinking that they can just stay on offense, not needing to leave anybody back.
And it's definitely a difficult thing with Arsenal. I mean, he's going to be in those corners, infiltrating the boost, trying to take it so frequently, get some bumps and demos. So catching them off guard is much easier whenever you can time it perfectly for Flight.
Touch out from Memory to Rapid. They'll look for that goal number 2. See if they can find more perfect timing. Rapid trying to block the backboard clear. Nothing's there. Now Sypical out. Rapid with a response. Flight starting to gain control. Can Rapid find the double tap? Doesn't need to. Oh, it's off to the side. Seabass's shot was good. The defense couldn't quite get in the way, and we've got a tie game.
I'm not quite sure what happened. AXB, he just missed off the backboard. He had to get a better read, and then as he's coming down off the back of the net, I think Sypical would have gotten the save, but AXB just hits it in himself. The pressure coming out from Flight off the big whiff on defense from AXB. We praised him, and now they're back on offense.
Oh, but here comes Arsenal and Sypical now into an empty backfield. Can they find a way to get it around this retreating defense? That's through one. It's there in front of the box. Here's AXB, and he puts it in. SSG takes the lead right back.
This was outstanding from Sypical. Look at the patience, and you saw the little stutter step to fake out the defender on the backboard. That little pause right behind the ball threw everything off of the defense. I love the patience from Sypical and the idea to slow down the play on the wall in such an uncharacteristic spot.
Sypical shot from the midfield. Memory will catch it on the goal line and now dribble it out over the top of one. Looks for a shot, puts it off the backboard twice. Now Seabass up. Rapid, who actually gets it into the box, and the redirection from Seabass. What a shot and what a game.
This is great bit of passing right here. He just drops it directly down, and Seabass, he decides not to rotate out. Great decision making from him. Staying in that aggressive position can be so difficult to make whenever you're forced to go back, and no panic whatsoever from Seabass. And we've got ourselves a game wave.
Yeah, excellent decision making there. A way to take it to one of the hottest teams in North America.
Yeah.
You dropped game 1 in overtime. Only 1 goal scored in that one, and here we've had 3 both ways. We're still tied up. AXB now lofted it. Arsenal going to look to see if he can drop this one off the ceiling, but Rapid will be up there as well. And now Memory shot from the midfield, deflected. AXB gets it away. Rapid puts it back in, and it's AXB again with a stop. Now looking to carry it over Memory. Lofted in front of the box. Seabass's shot will go to the corner after interception or interference from Sypical. Now Sypical all the way back down. And he finds this one, gets the flip reset. Just enough of an extension? No, it's wide on the defensive touch. 50 seconds left, 3-3. We had an overtime in game 1, maybe one here in game 2 as well. There's a touch in the middle. Sypical not going to make contact. Seabass and Rapid The attempt here, Seabass looking to carry it over the top of one. Sypical's up, gets it away. Can Arsenal find a way to get to this? No, Memory's already airborne. 30 seconds left. Memory with one read in the midfield. Seabass, adjustment, uses the wall to pass to himself. Flicks it over AXB. Typical with an attempt. Now back into the box. There's Memory, long way down the field. Can he get it underneath one? Arsenal will have the clear. 7 seconds left. Spacestation not necessarily in position to make an offensive drive. This one looks like overtime is likely. Got it onto the wall. Memory can keep it up there. And close one there. They get it into the box. But we'll go to overtime 2 games in a row, Turtle.
A fortunate 50 there for Spacestation in the corner. Memory almost forced that ball to pop up as we've got overtime. And Flight, I have been so impressed with their passing and the way they've been challenging all these clears. Spacestation really are having to work for all these goals. You've really only seen a goal from Spacestation off of great passing and individual plays from Sypical.
Here comes AXB. Underneath one. Didn't get a flip reset, but it doesn't matter. Sypical's there to finish it off, and that's 2 overtimes in a row for Spacestation.
AXB can do it all, and then the bit of patience. We saw Sypical do it on the backboard. AXB does it in the air this time. He sees the defender up in the air, waits, stalls the pass, and then just lightly touches it down for Sypical. The passing from Spacestation is out of this world. That was incredible.
Wonderful, wonderful play from them, and such a contrast from game 1 to game 2 here, as we had a 1-goal game in game 1, 7 goals here between both teams in game number 2, only 5 saves per side, so definitely a lot of shooting. Was this 11 shots from Flight to 11 shots? Man, so even in the stats as well.
Yeah.
The only difference, that last goal.
Flight, they're on point right now. It's just, it's hard to beat a player like AXB because, you know, he can do it all. I've really been impressed with him this entire season, and it's passes like that we just saw that we expect to see out of AXB, but he's also been doing incredible saves on the defensive side. Whenever he pushes forward, he can even be aggressive, get some demos, and then the shooting has been great from AXB, and it's plays like that really just separate Flight and Spacestation as well, because Flight, while they got some solid passing in, it was definitely much more basic, less creative when you compare it to all of Spacestation's shots and passing.
Yeah, no, but the thing I also like from Flight here is that there was a few mistakes from Spacestation they were able to punish, and it's so important that you get the goals that they give you for free there. Flight really making Spacestation work hard to get this win, but we're going into game 3. Flight is now up against a wall as Spacestation has won games 1 and 2. They have match point. They're going to have to reverse sweep if they want to get this one. They're going to have to go all the way to game 5. But that would be quite... this would change the way we talk about Flight if they were able to get the wins here and move this one all the way to game 5.
And while we've been happy with how Flight have been performing this series, it's still the same situation. We're closing out a game in a series without making simple mistakes like that whiff on defense right here with a great pop-up from Sypical. It's positions like that and a lot of moments where I feel like Flight struggled to close out a series. In week 1 against Pittsburgh Knights, they went to game 5. Flight could have started something there, and they just waited so long this season to really figure out how to clutch out a series.
Well, first 30 seconds, both teams will have a few opportunities here. A pinch in the midfield will go in. Arsenal plays it off the defender. And the 425 at Spacestation back up.
Seabass tried to hit Rapid early on. Rapid, he just needs to get up a little bit quicker and have a change of redirection with that ball. Instead, he just smacks it to the middle. And Spacestation, they're there to punish.
Comes on the kickoff. Seabass on the cheat up. Ball goes over his head. And Memory will try to pick this up. To pass 2. Arsenal on that backboard. Clear to the side. Next be through 1. Arsenal now. Back down onto Rapid's hood. Can he push this away? It's out to Memory. Now here's a shot. Long ways. Arsenal reaches for it and gets the save.
Oh, solid save so far. Spacestation, the defense really been impressing me. Even in game 1, while it wasn't too threatening from Flight, they did not break that rotation, and they kept the saves coming.
3:30 on the clock. Still just the 1 goal. Spacestation's got everything they need. As long as they just hunker down on defense, they'll be just fine. AXB a long clear. Seabass demolished, and that creates some space for Sypical, but Rapid's there first. A mid-air challenge. Sypical will try to send this on target. Got one demolition. Arsenal onto the wall. Sypical with an open net. The demolition's good, and his teammate tries to steal it from him, but that's 2 now for Space Station.
Back-to-back passing AXB with a great demo. Arsenal, he notices his positioning. He knows that AXB is going for the bump. Communication is on point. Everything looking so clean for Space Station. This is what we wanted to see. A clean sweep from them, a nice series, and really there is no doubt in my mind that Space Station are in form.
They're looking to take this 1 and 3 as well. Sypical trying to stretch it all the way over the top of 2. It's just wide of the goal. Rapid will pop it high, but AXB's already airborne. Can the upfield offender turn back around? Sypical tries. Double demolition. Opens up so much space for Space Station just to stay aggressive. Rapid back in the middle. Memory to the far corner. And right now, I just feel, Turtle, I just feel like Flight's just trying to find a clear that they can build any sort of offensive drive on. And they're finding the clears, but then the follow-up is just never there. They're never in position to make use of it, and it's mostly because Space Station is constantly adjusting and gaining control right back.
And that's why I want to see more solo plays, but it's also difficult to say that because Arsenal's taking all the boost. He's being aggressive, doing what he does the best, which is being annoying. And Seabass, I expect him to be that 1v1 player that we see pop off, get some nice flicks over the defenders, but none of that is really coming out and into fruition right now as Space Station are still aggressive. Seabass can't do anything. And Space Station, they're just popping off.
Oh, they just pin him against the air to say, you have to be over here. I'm sorry, you're not allowed to play Rocket League today. Just let him take the free shot. 3-0 for SSG now.
I love that little flick, too. He wasn't going to get the demo, but then he just flipped into him. The evolution of demos in this game and bumps has been ridiculous the past few seasons.
Yeah, for sure. People have really learned how to use their cars physically, and that kickoff to me is an indicator that Flight is in trouble. They felt the kickoff went very neutral. The cheat-up panicked and missed the ball despite the fact that nobody was pressuring, so there isn't the 4th goal out of it, but Flight definitely scared of Space Station right now. As Arsenal tries to set this one up, passes it to AXB. Can they get this in? That was a beautiful handoff. No goal just yet. And there it is. Finally, no, okay, off the crossbar. Seabass demolished, man. Space Station is just absolutely throttling them now.
This is just a walk in the park for Space Station at this point. With all the space that they're given from Flight, there's not enough aggression. They're not trying to counter the demos. There's big misses like that from Seabass. Like you said, Wave, that was a great point. You can literally see the panic out of Flight just in how they're trying to approach the ball. That might have even gone in. Okay, typical. Little BM.
He's like, I want the game to end. Enough of your goals. This reminds me of Space Station at LAN versus well, it wasn't low key. It was the other team, the 3 Sins, I believe. And they were just styling on him. Arsenal was hitting free play shots. And when Space Station gets this comfortable, it's just over. Yeah. It was clearly, he was doing the, I'm not going to score unless I can musty you. Well, 27 seconds left.
I mean, if you're going to save your own goals, and then, okay, there it is. Arsenal is just going to end it.
Puts it all the way in. A hat trick for Arsenal here as Space Station make simple work of Flight. The demolition in the midfield absolutely guarantees the shot going in. I mean, it was probably going to go in no matter what. And yeah, no, I mean, Space Station, like, they started off Flight. So do you feel like this is Flight cooling down or Space Station heating up as this series went on?
It was definitely Space Station heating up, and that's what I'm saying when I mentioned Flight. They had chances in the first game. If you're going to come into a series where you're the underdog, take a look at Sonics. Sonics comes in, and they end up winning a lot of those game 1s and games 2s, and they can build momentum early on and weaken their opposition. Meanwhile, Flight, they just struggle with concluding and closing out even individual games.
Yeah, and it's one of those, like, when you're facing somebody who you know is stronger than you, oftentimes your first goal is don't make any mistakes, and that's smart, but at the same time, it makes you reactive and it makes you very passive.